Hello and welcome to our lesson on radicals multiplying. First, let's talk about some rules about multiplying. In order to multiply a radical expression, so no equal sign, you need to multiply like terms. Remember, any whole numbers are considered like terms to any other whole numbers, and any radicands are considered like terms to the other radicands. Radicands and whole numbers are not like terms to each other. So for a quick review, the whole numbers that I was talking about, and here's the radicands. Only other whole numbers are like terms to each other, and only other radicands are like terms to each other. And then, of course, your teeny tiny number is your index. So, here's the steps you would take. First, you multiply the whole numbers and keep them outside the radical sign. So once we multiply these two, they're going to stay outside the radical sign. You're going to multiply the radicands and keep them under the radical sign. Once you do that, simplify the radicands, so you're going to have to factor tree, and then make sure you double check your answer. So let's try this. First of all, we're going to take our whole numbers. So we're multiplying -5 times 6, which will get us a -30. Then we're going to multiply our radicands. So we're looking at multiplying radical 2 times radical 22. And that's going to give us a radical 44. So putting it together, your whole number is -30, and you've got a radicand of 44. However, you have to simplify the radicand, and 44 is not simplified. So here we go, back to a factor tree again. 44 broken down would be 2 times 22. There's a prime, so I'm going to put a dot under it to keep track of it. And then 22 is 2 times 11. Now I'm down to primes. There is no index here, so it's assumed to be 2. So we're looking for pairs. And I have a pair, and then I have a lonely leftover. So actually, it's going to be -30 times the 2 that came out, and then that lonely 11 goes right back under the radical sign. But we're not done yet because we have to finish out the actual problem. So you're going to take -30 2 times in a row. So you're going to get -60 radical 11. And that would be the answer for that multiplication problem. And to go back and double check, you would recheck your multiplication, pull out that nifty calculator if you didn't already use it, and then rerun your factor tree and make sure that you pulled out the correct grouping. In this case, it's groups of 2. Let's take a look at another one. Alright, we have the whole numbers first, -12 times 6. So when we multiply -12 times 6, we're going to end up getting a -72. And then we're going to multiply the cube root of 9 times the cube root of 3. So let's take the cube root of 9 and multiply it by the cube root of 3. So just multiply under the radicand. So 9 times 3 is 27. So we actually have 72 cube root 27. But wait, 27 can be reduced. We can take 27 and factor tree it and see if we can pull out any triples, because this is a cube root, so we're looking for groups of 3. So 3 times 9, 3 times 3, and oh, look at that, you've got a group of 3s. Nobody left over, so you're not going to have a radical sign. There's nothing to put under it. So you're just going to have your -72 multiplying it by the 3 that came out. And when you do that, you're going to end up with a negative number, and it's -216. So that would be your final answer. Not too bad. Let's try one more example. Do I have a whole number? Technically, yes, I do. They're both 1s. If it's invisible, there's nothing out there. That means they're 1s. So I have a -1 times a +1, so I still have a -1. Now we're going to take the 4th root of 8 and multiply it by the 4th root of 24. So we're going to have to do 24 times 8, and that's going to get us radical 192, and that's the 4th root. There's no way 192 is fully factored down, so we're going to have to take it and factor it down. So if we do 192, we can go 2 and, well, let's do 96, and then we can do another 2. Actually, let's do 3. We can do a 3, and then we can do 32. So far I've got 2 primes. Now I can do, how about 4 and 8? and then I've got 2 and 2, got 2 and 4, and then I'm going to go 2 and 2. It's a lot of prime numbers, and we're looking for groups of 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the other ones, this 2, this 3, and this 2, can't make up a grouping of 4. There's only 2 2s and 1 3. So we're only going to pull out one group of 2s. So that means we're going to take our -1 that we have out here and multiply it by 2, because that's our group of 4 2s that we took out. And we still have the index of 4, and now our leftovers, which is 2 times 3 times 2. So let's go ahead and simplify it, and you're going to get a -2 to the 4th root. 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12. And that would be your final answer. Okay. For a quick review, multiply only like terms. Remember, I only multiplied the whole numbers by the whole numbers. I only multiplied the radicals by the radicals. And then I went back and simplified any remaining radicands. And of course, always go back and double check your work. And that's it for our lesson on radicals multiplying.